What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 278 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. What's up, dude?
I got a Switch too.
That makes one of us.
I'm part of the cool kids club now.
I'm still protesting.
Is that how this works? I'm part of the cool club?
I think so. I think you're cool.
I technically own two. So I guess I own a Switch 4. I don't know how the math works. I own two Switch 2s.
So my household has two Switches and an OLED, so that puts me at like 2.5 Switches, right? That's how that would work.
I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I bought my Switch 2 this past weekend, and my wife started playing on it with me. We played Mario Kart World together, and so when she said she ended up wanting to upgrade finally, it's like, okay, cool. We'll go try to find another one. Let's go do that. And we ended up finding another one. Got traded in my old OLED and some other retro stuff that I had lying around. Only paid $200 for the second one. Got my pre-order for ZA already locked up. We're golden. We're set.
Yeah, sounds great.
I'll be honest, that's the first time I've been in a GameStop in like 5-6 years.
Yeah, you're not missing much. Well, I guess the big thing is they have a lot more trading cards and stuff now.
Yeah, they do a lot of trading cards now, which everybody else in there, that when I went in there, was there for cards.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that.
So I think I heard 4 different people ask about Pokemon cards, and everybody was out. I'm just like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that at all.
But yeah, Scarlet and Violet looks really good on the Switch too. I'm hopeful that they get the compatibility things figured out for the 2026 season, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Look at that. Perfect segue.
Perfect segue.
We're going to be talking about the changes for the 2026 season. There was a fun little, website / post put up for what all was going to be changing, how everything was going to work for the 26th season, which they usually put this out about this time of year to kind of give people an idea of what's going to be happening going after Worlds, because as soon as Worlds is over, usually locals and everything picks right back up, and you get ready to start earning your championship points for 2026. The meat and potatoes of it, there was a few changes, not a ton. They updated some of the big highlight points is they updated the amount of CP spread between like top 16 and top 64, top 8, like top 16, like just outside of top 8 all the way through 64th. They kind of padded that section a little bit more with more CP, so if you finish in that section, you do get a little bit more. One of the big changes was the global and grand challenges are now like pseudo region locked, so you're only really competing against players in your rating zone.
Okay.
Which, for those that don't know, our rating zones are North America, Europe, Latin America, Middle East, South Africa, and then Oceania. So North America people will only have to have their rating against North America, from the way I understood reading it, and so on and so forth. It incentivizes like the Middle East and South African players to play in them because they'll earn CP regardless of where they finish, compared to the half a thousand North American players that finished ahead of them. Probably,
I will say I think that is a good change. Making it where you don't have to where you can still compete in international tournaments, but not steal right. You're not stealing invites from the region anymore. Am I understanding this right, or
No, you can still go and play in regionals and steal invites from that region. That's still up. That's still a thing. This was specifically for the grand challenges and
yeah. Okay, yes.
Since they are online global events, it was really hard for smaller regions like South Africa and Middle East to earn CP in those from these events. So they usually just didn't participate. And so you would have to have played really, really well out of your mind to beat most of the NA people and things like that. And so now rating zones are separated.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so North America only plays, like, North America's points are only based against other North America points. Europe's points are only based against other European players. Things like that.
Gotcha. Now I'm following.
Which that's a good thing. That's a good change. I still think there's too much emphasis on them for global challenges and grand challenges to be balanced, but this is a good change to kind of help people get their points and things like that.
Okay.
There was another big change towards the number of invites. US, Canada, and Europe, and I believe Latin America all increased slightly. Oceania stayed the same. So now we have 80 for US and Canada, 80 for Europe, 60 for Latin America, and 20 for Oceania, and 5 for the Middle East, South Africa.
It was 75 for US?
We were 75, Europe was 75. I believe Latin America was 50, and Oceania was still 20.
I do think it's also very good that, like, Middle East and South Africa is getting stuff now as well.
They still have, like, they're now that everything's kind of settling down, they're getting back into being able to play. It's nice to see that they're getting invites. I do wish that they would figure out a system to keep them kind of half region locked for them and not have a bunch of US, Canada, or Europe or whatever coming outside of the region to come and try and snipe the 10-person event or whatever.
Yeah.
I still think it's kind of scummy. But I guess if they want to pay the $3,000 round trip to fly out there and come back, I guess that's their prerogative.
I am curious how much a flight to South Africa is.
It's expensive. It is not cheap. What was the other big things to take away? I think that was all that was for this page. Most of it's going to be in the what's new section. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about League Challenges and Cups coming back, which that starts for VGC September 1st. Again, that's kind of sucky because Go and TCG start literally Tuesday. You can start earning points Tuesday if you're playing TCG or Go.
I can get a round trip flight for $1,700.
Oh, that's actually much cheaper than when I checked it last time.
It is 31 and a half hours of travel.
Yeah, honestly, no, you're not getting there anything. I don't think you're getting there anything less than 24 hours. It's a full day on the plane, pretty much.
Here's if I want to go to like the $2,000 range, I can get it to 19 and a half hours.
Oh, so you can get it with no stops at all?
That is one stop.
That is one stop. Okay.
That is one stop in probably somewhere out on the East Coast, if I was guessing, man.
It actually is probably a Europe stop, maybe.
Let's see. Go. Oh, wait. It's EWR, whatever airline that is.
No clue. Couldn't tell you.
That is Newark.
Ah. Neat.
All right, cool. I'm not flying to South Africa.
No, we don't have to worry about that. We'll have our own events. It'll be fine. We got some cool locations already scheduled up for us, which is super duper neat. But yeah, so if you're TCG or Go, you can start earning CP Tuesday. That sucks because we would like to also be doing that. Obviously, I got into a fun little argument with all my TCG buddies. It's like, oh no, we all have to wait until September. I was like, no, we don't.
No, you guys
don't. Almost always TCG always gets to start in July, and we got to play July last year, and that was like one of the only events I got to go to was like in late July, and which was really cool back then. And then September now being our start date means that they have a whole extra month of grinding locals and whatnot. Not to mention that they have locals literally on every street corner, it feels like.
Dude, you aren't wrong. Like, you could hop, skip, and jump and be into another place where you can play.
Where's the map? There's, I think it's... Oh, it's the map. It's Pokédata has the map, and you can look up all the locals for the next month or whatever. Oh, I lied. They get 2 months because we don't start in September. They get to play through July and August. Yeah, we're just boned. We are just completely and utterly boned. Completely not fair.
Can't say we didn't try, so just they don't like us, so why would we get stuff?
I don't even have anything scheduled yet. That's how that's how far out in advance for VG. And I wonder if anybody's got anything scheduled for TCG since it starts literally. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Oh yeah.
If I was a betting man, probably, yeah.
There's literally league challenges on as soon as you get back from the 4th of July.
Yeah, that tracks.
That's just so unfair. So unfair. Come on, Pokemon, figure out your stuff. Let's let us also play. Because here's the other crappy part about it. Reg I was such a fun format, and we literally only got to play May and the first week of June, and then you're just done. Because there's nothing else to play between now and Worlds.
Yeah.
And so Reg I will get to slink off into mediocrity, and we'll probably be on Reg H or Reg H 2.0 going into the next format, and it'll be Archaludon, Rain, and Sneasler all over again.
Carl, you're telling me that doesn't sound like a blast?
I mean, I enjoyed that format. I know a lot of people won't, because a lot of people did not like the Sneasler stuff. Big changes to when we're starting a side. They also adjusted Swiss pairings now. Oh, I say it's not pairings, it's the number of rounds. One of the big things that came out of the 25 season was the large asymmetrical top cuts.
Yes.
Where they were 23, 24, 25 players. They were very large.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would go in, you would have 10 buys in the first part of the asymmetrical cut because you had 26 players. Well, only 16 of them needed to play because you need to have 16 players going into the next bracket. And so you would have X amount of play and you'd have X amount of buys, and it was all wonky. What they are going to be doing now is there's an extra round of Swiss. I believe it's in I don't know exactly where they placed it, because where they placed it does matter. I think it's placed in day 2. I'm hoping it's in day 2.
I can't imagine it's not in day 2.
And so what this will do is it'll act like that big round of asymmetrical top cut where there would be a bunch of buys usually.
Mm-hmm.
And instead it'll weed out a lot of those that 17 to 32 range.
Yeah.
That'll all get weeded out in that last round. In that last Swiss round. Which that's what the asymmetrical cut was doing to start with.
Correct, yeah.
The other change is asymmetrical top cut is now capped at 16 instead of 32. So there's 2 changes.
Okay.
It's 2 changes doing the exact same thing.
Okay. Got it.
Don't ask me why they implemented both. They could have just did one, and it would have been. They could have gotten away with just doing the extra Swiss round, and it would have taken care of itself. But doing both means that there's less arguments and excuses and things like that going forward, just in case something happens. I believe that will more affect TCG than VGC. Usually, the ties past 16 are usually pretty tough to find. Whereas in TCG, that happens a ton. I know X1 and 1 or X1 and 2, or you'll have a ton of those get into day 2. And what this will do is it'll help those players that went. I think it was 18 points at NAIC, which ends up being with 9 rounds. You can do 5, 0, and 3. Those players that stuck in without 18 points.
I had to think about
because you get 1 for each draw.
Yes.
And so hitting 18 was the magic number. So at 5, 0, and 3, your breakers are probably kind of garbage. compared to the 6-1-2, or 7-1 or 7-1-1 or whatever. And so this kind of helps those players have better shots at cracking the top 16 because there's that extra round of Swiss. And so that's also a big change, but it'll be more of probably a TCG than a VGC thing. I think a lot of our top cuts will still be the 9-0, 8-1. Whoever went in with one or less loss going into day 2 will probably still be the ones at the top.
Gotcha.
If they do well. Quick mention for TCG, because this is going to be a big deal for TCG end around rule change. No longer is +3 turns. Now it's just 1 turn after time is called. And if there's no one winning at the end of that that extra turn, then it's a draw. And it's also timed now. It used to be untimed, now they are timed for 10 minutes. I will say, as someone who went to 2 regionals, 2 events this year at the tail end of the year, a lot of the complaints from TCG people were rounds take forever.
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly on Milwaukee, we were a full round ahead of TCG before lunch.
Yeah.
Like we were in round 4 as they were ending round, like we were ending round 4 when they were ending round 3. We got a full round ahead of them.
Insane.
So I had to wait at the venue an extra hour for everybody to finish up so we can go eat lunch or dinner. So this is looking to reduce that extra long end of round timer for turns. My TCG buddies are kind of mixed on it. A lot of them are saying that it's just going to be more draws.
It is.
It's just going to be a lot more draws. You also won't get to see like the cool play of what happened at NAIC, where passing to your opponent and then picking and cleaning it up it'll be less common to see that. That was kind of cool. That was kind of a cool thing.
What are you talking about?
So in Masters semis, they went to game 3 at the end of turns. The optimal line was to not pick up the KO because they couldn't KO him back. And then since he was turn 2, turn 3, he would have been next prize wins, and he could have taken, and then he takes the KO and he gets 1 prize and he wins. Whereas if he takes the KO, it puts his opponent in a position to where they could KO back, and it would be much harder for them to pick up a prize on the next
Gotcha. Turn. Okay.
So that's going to be less of that. It was already a rare thing. It's probably going to be non-existent now.
Gotcha. Okay.
I believe for Top Cut, where they have to have a winner, it's going to follow that same next prize wins after the first turn. Which that's fine. It'll be weirder. It'll be more weird to see that kind of thing, I think. I'm trying to think of scenarios where that benefits anybody, and I don't think it does really. I think it's actually worse. I don't think there's anything good that comes out of going from 3 turns to 1 turn. I guess there's more of an incentive to not be turn 0, maybe.
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know on this one.
Because there was less pressure to be turn 0 when you got +3 turns. Now there's a little bit more pressure because you probably want to be the. No, it's probably actually better to be turn 0 going into the final turns, because you want the next turn after. If they can't get a prize advantage, you want to be the next person to be able to get a prize. So yeah. This is partly what we talked about earlier. Grand challenges and global challenges are now separate for region rating zones. That's really, really big. They adjusted challenge kickers to reflect average attendance, I guess. I don't know exactly what all that means. I'm guessing it's just, I don't know if it was adjusted up or down or what. And then I mentioned this earlier, more championship points have been allocated to 9th through 64th place at
Yes.
the championship events. This is another good change, giving extra points to those outside the top 8 is good. It puts a little bit more pressure on those finishing up in the upper echelons a lot, because they're not as safe as they normally would be. Because the jump from top 8 to 9th was a pretty steep fall. And so now hopefully they've kind of closed that gap a little bit, where placing top 64 at a regional is a much better accomplishment than it used to be.
I'd agree. Yeah.
Go travel award stipend. They doubled it from 4 to 8. Cool. Were you interested in the Ace Trainer program? Did you even know this was a thing?
No idea what we're talking about.
Cool. So Ace Trainer rewards was think of it as old time Magic player rewards. Do you remember that one?
Like you can after you get so many points, you can redeem for promos and stuff. Am I?
It's close. That was close to what it was. So with it was like a tier system. If you earned enough points, what Wizards would send you a pack of card like promos and things like that in the mail. And so this is kind of the same thing. If you hit 200 CP, you got a promo and some stuff for Pokemon Live and things like that. It's mainly just benefits the TCG players because it's just stuff for the TCG.
Yeah.
There was nothing really crazy for nothing. There was no VGC special anything, no Go anything special. So it's a cool thing try to achieve if you want to get the promo, which the promo is it's usually an unplayable card.
Yes.
Because again, they don't want to put playable cards behind promo stuff like that. They've learned their lesson real early on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good. It's coming back for the 26th season. It's 200 CP again. And with that leading into that, we'll talk about Unite no longer being on championship points, because it also mentions here that Unite competitors on top placing teams will earn Ace Trainer. I don't remember the last time they took any kind of event, any kind of one of their games off the CP standard.
It's a little weird, right?
So Unite being a team event, the way you previously qualified is the team earned the CP. The team name earned the CP.
Yes.
So what that means is your team could change players kind of throughout the year, but your team name remained the same. That's the team that earned the championship points. So that would be the team that would be going to Worlds and etc. This is the way I understood it before.
Okay.
The way they're going to now, it's more of the esports style league system. How familiar are you with League of Legends,
no,
LCS?
Literally in one ear, out the other.
Okay, so most esports, competitive esports, have leagues where there's promotion and regulation. It's kind of like soccer, where there's the main teams, and then there's regulation, teams that are trying to make it their way up, and the worst teams from the main league will fall under regulation, and the regulation teams can move up into the main team and kind of go back and forth that way.
Yeah, you'll get regulated down, and yes, I know
that's
exactly
kind of the new system. There are specific ways now that Unite teams will qualify for Worlds. Top 2 at a Unite regional league, which the rating zones for Unite are North America, Latin America North, Latin America South, South America, Europe, Oceania, Japan, Korea. There's a lot. So each one of those regions is pretty much getting their own league. And that's kind of how Japan and Korea and all their system already kind of worked. And now that's kind of just bleeding into the North America, Europe, and Latin America system. So now it's going to be North America's going to have their teams, Europe's going to have their teams, and then Latin America North and South are getting combined.
Okay.
Which that'll probably also pull up like teams like Peru, and any of the other South American teams into that region, I imagine. And so now, if you finish top 2 in a league, you win the AOS Cup at EUIC, the Asia Champion League, or the final stretch at NAIC, or if you win one of the last chance qualifiers. That's how you make your invite to Worlds. There's no CP. There's no points to be earned. It's still all attached to the name. The invite's still attached to that team. The players can swap in and out still, as far as I'm aware. But what this does is it creates a new like broadcast thing for them to stream.
Okay.
Because I imagine they will broadcast they usually broadcast like the AOS Cups.
Yes.
And the monthly cups that they use to like give away CP. I imagine that what they'll do is they'll probably bring these league matches to their streams instead, which is really, really cool. It creates more content creation opportunities, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in.
Because I imagine they'll probably play X amount of matches each week, and they'll probably, for someone who watched and played League of Legends competitively for a long time, like this is all real familiar to me. I know like all this stuff, how this is all going to work. For those that follow that stuff, this should sound a whole lot of familiar. For those that aren't really sure what's going on, it just means more Pokemon content.
Yeah, absolutely on board.
You get to watch more games, which, as someone who got to go sit through like day 2 at NAIC watching Unite for most of the day, that was like my favorite part of the whole thing. Was just sitting there watching Unite play on the stage. Like, you could look over across the way, and VGC had a handful of people in the seats. TCG had almost no one in their seats. And then there was Go at the very end, and they had a decent little crowd. Unite seats were almost always full.
Yeah.
Like, it, for some reason, Unite just, from like the live stream side of it, content is awful. Live streaming Unite is not how to make money and like to do content right now, but for some reason it is such a fun game to watch at events, and their numbers are always really, really good in the audience there live. It's super weird. It's a super weird game. I love it to death, but it's just a super weird game. That brings us to...
We ready to talk about the schedule?
Yeah, scheduling time. So we know Worlds, August 15th through the 17th, Anaheim, California. Cool. The next event after that will be September 13th and 14th, Frankfurt, Monterey. Those will be our first taste of whatever the new regulation is.
Which, I mean, we have literally no idea.
No clue right now.
What would be really cool is they open up net decks and allow everything to be legal.
We also don't even know what game we're playing on yet. Yeah, that's the other thing. We don't, because it's in September, we don't know what game we're playing on. We could, they could
still be
rush release champions.
Right?
You'd think it would be, but we don't know. We don't know.
I mean, we're not gonna get like shadow dropped a Pokemon game, right?
They haven't confirmed anything yet.
There's no way they shadow drop a Pokemon game.
They put this stuff out so far in advance. We didn't even know what regulation we were going to be playing in for like Milwaukee and Portland until they finally announced it. Registration for those 2 events had opened up weeks, almost months before they even told us what format we were playing. So this is just what Pokemon does all the time. We don't know anything about what we're doing. We don't know if the Switch 2 is going to be allowed. We don't know if we're going to be playing on Scarlet and Violet still. I'm assuming we are. I'd be very surprised if Champions is ready by September 13th, 14th.
I don't see that happening.
Who knows? It might be Shadow Drop. I don't know. We don't know what's going
on. It's not going to be. It's Pokemon. Everything is too big.
Pocket went under the radar up until like 2 months before it was released, and it finally got announced and then released. It was just like, it was that fast. I was just like, mobile games from Pokemon, I don't question anything. Anything involving mobile, they can have it out like that, it feels like. But yeah, Frankfurt, Monterey. And then our first NA event is September 19th through the 21st in Pittsburgh. I know a lot of people are excited about Pittsburgh. It being a more East Coast friendly event. And then we also have the next event after that, October 10th through the 12th, Milwaukee. Milwaukee in October probably sucks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's probably going to be awful.
It's not that bad.
So it's likely going to be wet.
Whether
it is likely going to be awkward.
I'm looking. Let's see. This is October.
Yeah. It's either going to be hotter than hell or wet and cold. There's like no in between at that point in Milwaukee, because October is that month where it's like you either have summer for all the way up till Halloween, or winter or fall starts early and it's cold all the way up through all the way through.
It looks like average temp was like high 50s to like high 60s. It got down to 37 once. It looks like twice.
So
maybe?
it leans into the colder side.
Precipitation average on like the daily is about 0.
That's surprising, being that close to the lakes. So
okay, there's precipitation and then there's precipitation average. So I don't know what that means.
Average means across the month, probably.
I'm looking at it like by day.
I don't know then what it means.
I don't either.
Anywho, that same weekend there is the event in Belo Horizonte. I think that's how you pronounce it, in Brazil. Pretty much same weekend. And then we have Lille in the weekend before Halloween, October 25th and 26th. And then we have Gdansk, November 1st and 2nd. And then we have the one Carter's really excited for, Las Vegas, November 14th to the 16th.
I really want to do Vegas, man. I was talking to Wyatt because I ran into him on Friday. He's like, yeah, me and Brandon are already planning to go to Vegas.
I was about to say, I knew they were, because they were, what was crazy is on the way back up, they were talking about like potential like events, and Las Vegas was on their hit list. And so having this like now they're very excited for it.
Wyatt I was talking to him. He's like, yeah, every event I go to, I just go to the casino afterwards.
Yep. I can confirm that.
It's like, man, I want to travel with you because this is right up my alley.
Yeah, we tried to get you to go to Milwaukee.
And yeah, he was saying that Brandon wants to stay like an extra week because there's an F1 race the following weekend. It's like,
I don't know about that.
I can't do a week of Vegas. There's no way I could handle that, let alone get that much time off of work.
Yeah, I could probably go like the weekend and then maybe a couple extra days. But I also know them, they just want to drive everywhere, and I ain't doing that.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
They wanted to drive to Portland.
It's not that bad. It's only 20 hours.
It is that bad.
Carl, it's only 20 hours.
Let's say 13 hours was rough. 13 hours in New Orleans, my legs were hurting. Like halfway down.
Alright, time to look at flights to Vegas.
They're cheap if you don't fly out of like middle of nowhere, Missouri, like we have to.
When's the dates?
November 14th and 16th. So you probably want to get there.
We'll fly in the 13th, leave the 17th.
Yeah.
All right. Expedia has flights from KCI. Round trip for $250.
Yeah. Like, it's not awful, but that's
2 hours nonstop for $229.
There you go.
Round trip.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's bukus.
That'd be what I'd want to do. If I was going to go to Vegas, I'd want to fly.
It looks like 95% of the flights are nonstop to Vegas too. So
that's good because
unless you want a 40-minute layover in Dallas for some reason,
I was about to say it's gonna lay over in Dallas. That's what they all do.
Here's one that layovers in Phoenix. Yes, exactly what I want to do. Fly to Orlando for my layover.
Hey, crazier things have been done. But yeah, Vegas would be fun. It's the perfect like time of year to go to because it's not going to be awkwardly hot like it usually would be.
I would really like to do Vegas. I don't think I'm going to have the time off for it. What's funny is the literal week, like 2 days before. It might have been the night before. I was looking at the Magic Pro Tour like list for next year.
Yeah.
And they're doing one in Vegas in like May. I'm just like, man, I really want to try to qualify for like the PT and like play in Vegas. I think that'd be really, really cool. And so then you send me this and Vegas is on there. I'm just like, man, I really want to do Vegas.
But like with this, you don't have to qualify for anything. You just get to go.
The difference is I don't have the time off for Vegas.
Just quit your job. It's fine. Just tell them you'll be back in 4 days and it'll be fine. The same weekend as Vegas is the Buenos Aires special event. And then the following weekend will be the LAIC Pokemon Latin American International Championships. Mm-hmm. That'll be our first big event. And then we don't have any more US-based events scheduled yet. Outside of NAIC, which we knew that one last year where it was going to be at. But we do have events for Stuttgart, Meridia, Birmingham. The Meridia, Birmingham, Auckland is a big triple header because it's Mexico, United Kingdom, and New Zealand. So it's Oceania, Latin America, and Europe all in one weekend. So that'll be fun. Those also potentially would be our first shot at maybe being on Champions, I think. Like our first real shot.
Maybe. I think you might be...
There's speculation that the game's coming in January.
When
exactly in January, we don't know.
Yeah, I could see January.
But January was our first, like, this is when the game's supposed to be coming out. This is also at that same time of Pokemon likes to usually rotate things in the winter.
Yep.
Because you have that long holiday break, everyone's got the new stuff. So it's like, hey, we're going to move over and do this now because everybody's had the stuff long enough to do this. And this is usually when that happens. I could also see just being on Scarlet and Violet again.
Yeah.
With no changes.
I don't know.
We don't know. We just don't know. It's just they love to leave us in the dark. We don't know. After that, Santiago Regional Championships, February 7th and 8th. The weekend after that is the European International Championships in London. That would be something fun to travel to if you could like afford it.
Man, I wouldn't mind doing London either.
That would be a fun one to travel to.
I agree.
It's pretty accessible through most airports, so be kind of nice, kind of fun. After that is Seville, Querétaro, Utrecht, Lima. All of these are in April and May. We're winding down to the end of our season because the next event after that would be the last event of the season, Pokemon North American International Championships back in New Orleans for probably the last year it's in New Orleans. I know their contract. I think it's either 26 or 27.
I can't remember if it's a 2-year or 3-year contract.
I think it's 3, and this will be the 3rd year.
Is it?
Yeah. Because it was in New Orleans last year. It was in New Orleans this year.
I thought last year was in...
It was New Orleans.
Man, that does not sound right.
It was. Because that was the one I was wanting to go to. I was wanting to go to that, but I didn't have anybody to go with.
I thought it was like somewhere up north.
The in North American International Championships have always been either Columbus or now New Orleans. That's it.
Huh.
And New Orleans, this should be the last one of New Orleans' 3-year contract.
Gotcha.
But we kind of cheated, and we kind of know where most of the other NEIC, like other North American events, are. Once I go and find the picture, I have to scroll up pretty far. Open this one. And then share this tab instead. Hey, look at that. It's the rest of the events. So when they did their like 26 championship season trailer, this was the map they used. And so they had all these cities lit up. Well, Vegas is right there. Pittsburgh's right there. Milwaukee's right there. Indy would be right there. They've been to Indianapolis before. San Antonio has been a regional event location before. Orlando is a common one. Mm-hmm. Toronto is one. LA is one. Vancouver is one. This would fill out, I believe, all 9 of our regionals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. And then they will probably add a Puerto Rico special event in there to kind of round it all off. Like they usually do. This seems very, very much like legitimate. Like this is like the idea they wanted to do. You'll get Pittsburgh and Orlando. You'll have LA and Vegas for the West Coast people. You'll have Vancouver, Toronto for Canada. You've got Milwaukee, Indy for Midwest.
Is it weird to you that Pokemon is doing Vegas? It just seems so not Pokemon. I don't know why.
I don't think it's weird.
I think it's really strange that they're doing Vegas.
They literally have been in New Orleans for 3 years.
Yeah, but I just... New Orleans, I think, is fine, but Vegas just seems... Vegas seems like Vegas, you know?
You didn't go into parts of New Orleans where I got to see. Trust me. It is not Pokemon. Trust me. It does not convey the core values that Pokemon wants to convey. But... So, yeah, like... I feel like this makes a lot of sense. And then, like I said, add a Puerto Rico event, special event, like they always do. And that kind of would round out our NA events. I think we're probably going to get one more EU event. And then they probably don't have the Oceania. I don't think they have all the Oceania events. Did they have anything past outside of Auckland?
For that Oceania? I don't know.
I didn't see any scheduled. Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, Brazil, France, Poland, Nevada, Argentina, Brazil, Germany, Mexico, United Kingdom, Chile, United Kingdom, Spain, Mexico, Netherlands. Yeah, they didn't have anything else for Oceania outside of New Zealand, which was, I don't think they've had one in New Zealand before, which that's cool.
That is really cool. I
don't know if they've had one in New Zealand. I can't remember. But they'll probably have a Melbourne. They'll probably have 3 events total in Oceania. Believe they currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They currently have 8 scheduled outside of LA with LAIC for Latin America area. So that's also kind of fits in the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably their max. I don't know if they might get one more. 9 seems to be like the number they like to use. I like to hit. But yeah, that's kind of just been the whole kit and caboodle of what to expect for 2026. Any thoughts?
Oh, man, I really want to... If I could... So I was thinking about this the other day. If I could just have a year, just 1 year, to where I can just travel to any event I wanted to and just play as much as I wanted to, and not have to worry about being an adult.
Right, yeah.
Not have to worry about a mortgage or a car payment or utilities, or just not have to stress about
paying your bills.
Yeah, not have to stress about being an adult for a year. It would be so awesome, and I know it's just never gonna happen.
Yeah. It as someone who I got to go to 2 pretty much in the span of a month and a week, and it was rough. It took a lot just to try and like make sure everything was set up for the trip, plus making sure I tried and be here around the house. It was really rough trying to balance all of that. I did not do a very good job of balancing it. I am not doing multiple events again like that. I am probably
not back to back like that.
No. I probably am not doing that. I will probably go to New Orleans if I get the shot, because I just really enjoyed the city. I really enjoyed going down there. But unless I want to go to Indy, that'd be the only other event I think I'm going to this next season. Would be one of those 2 probably.
Gotcha.
Unless I somehow win, and then I was like, okay, now I gotta go to Worlds and whatnot. But yeah, I don't plan on doing multiple events again, especially that close together. There was I really enjoyed the format, and Red Guy is great, but I had to take a week off just to not be burnt out, and then I spent 2 weeks trying to test and team build for NAIC after Milwaukee, and it took a lot of the fun out of the game for me because I spent too much time trying to actually figure out what I wanted to play. Are we gonna draw that Pokemon? Do you want to do that?
Yeah. When was the last time you drew?
What was the last one?
I don't know.
I drew the dial-up dragon.
Last one I did was Reshiram.
Yeah, that was the last time it was just you and me. So it technically would be...
I think it's me. Sure.
I think it's... Trying to think about when's the last time we actually done one.
I don't know, but I'm ready.
Let me roll a number.
You do that. Sylvia's debating jumping on my lap. Instead, she's just getting all kinds of pets. She can't tell if she likes it or not.
Oh, this is kind of cool and fitting.
Okay.
Your Pokemon is Joltik.
All right, let me zoom in really far here. This is going to be so tiny when it's done. I'm so excited.
Biblically accurate Joltik.
Does Joltik have 6 or 8 legs?
Can't help you.
He's getting 6. I feel like it's way easier to draw when I can draw every freaking pixel.
Right? It's so much easier.
I feel like his eyes are really red. Bright red eyes. That doesn't look right. I'm keeping it.
You might need to make his eyes a little bit bigger.
Yeah, probably. I don't want the bucket. I want the... Was it the pen I was using? He needs a mouth. He needs a little mouth. Oh, nope, I want black. He does not have a red mouth.
Oh.
I feel like he's not nearly as fuzzy as he should be, but I'm happy with my little guy.
You ready to sign it?
I think so.
All right. Scribble it on there.
All right. You gonna send it to me?
Yes, I am. I love this series. This looks like my favorite.
It's so fun.
There is Joltik. So you were kind of close.
I was blue.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he had little little things
mandibles
on his.
And then he has little feet.
He only has 4 feet.
Yep.
Which I get. Okay, so like if you
got you got like the right number of appendages off of his body. It's just they're not all like the two that matter are not the right length.
Correct.
They're too long.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he had 6 legs. Huh.
Nope, just 4.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Let me. I'll send this to you. So
awesome.
And then I need to. Yeah, I love this series. It's so dumb.
Hey, look, there's Reshiram.
It's just so enjoyable.
Yeah. I know Ro hasn't been wanting to do it when it's me and him or him plus a guest.
He doesn't enjoy it, and I understand why, but he needs to get over it.
I want him to do it with the guests. That's what I want him to do. Is it's like get the guests to draw.
Yes.
Like do that because that's where it's fun.
No, I don't want to copy link. I want to copy image.
Gotta get our Joltik on screen.
Copy
it's gonna be huge, probably
image.
compared to our
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be ginormous.
Oh
yeah.
Good golly.
Let's shrink him down a little bit. There we go.
Honestly, they're pretty close.
Yeah, like I said, you weren't that far off. It's hard to draw the fuzz, right? The fuzz part's like hard. Like I didn't expect you to get all that level of detail, but you got the majority of the parts that mattered. You got the legs.
Kind
of mandible.
It's pretty close. All actuality, it's pretty close.
The eyes were the wrong color, but like that's whatever.
I knew they were a bright color. I just went with red instead of blue.
Yeah. Your Joltik is possessed.
My Joltik is shiny?
No, I don't think the eyes turned red with the shiny.
Shiny Joltik is more yellow.
I'm about to say it's more neon yellow, remember, right?
Yeah, it is. The eyes go into like a shade of purple.
Neat.
Huh. Okay, I'll take it. This is enjoyable. This is honestly a really simple one, but like,
yeah.
If you show this to someone, you could probably figure out this is Joltik.
Or Galvantula, maybe, depending on how zoomed in you are.
I'll take it. I will take it. So,
all right.
Get
us out of here.
As always, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. Like, comment, subscribe on the podcast if you're listening over on YouTube or Spotify or anywhere you can do that. Leave us a comment and tell us what you really enjoy. Because I love the drawing at the end. It really is just super enjoyable. Let's see. Follow us over on Blue Sky. You can follow us there. I'm technically still active on Twitter. I think I'm the only one who might be, and by active I mean I have an account and I doom scroll on it.
Yeah, I think you're the only one who's still active on that.
Yeah, look, it's not bad if you just curate exactly what you want to see at all times on there.
I don't like fighting like that. So.
That's also really fair. Let's see, Blue Sky, Discord, come hang out over there. I'm trying to fight with this stupid thing so we can get the stupid server tags. I want one so it looks cool, but I can't get it because Apple doesn't like Discord and Discord doesn't like Apple, and it makes things super complicated.
Here, let me fix this. Apple doesn't like anything.
Apple really does not. You're not wrong. So I don't know. I'll get it figured out eventually, maybe.
What else?
Let's see. Podcast, Discord. I don't know. I feel like I hit the majors. I
feel like that's it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to be it. I'm going to go make cookies.
Ooh, what kind of cookies?
I don't know yet. I want to... I've had this idea for, like... lemon creme brulee cookies in my head for like a month, and I don't know what that means. I
Good
don't
luck
know what
on
it
the
means.
mess. It's gonna be a mess. That's what.
Yeah,
That means.
probably, but like it's been in my head, and I want to figure it out. So,
All right, have at it.
So, I think that's it, everyone. Have a fantastic week, and I say I see you next week, but I'm on vacation, so
I think it'll be Ro and maybe me and a guest.
I'm gonna try to go see Aaron and be the first person to get to meet Aaron IRL.
Yeah. Good luck with
So
that.
it'll be great. So have a good one, everyone, and until then, we will see you later. Have a good one. Peace.